Hi, everybody. Coming to you in the middle of the afternoon because things could be developing quickly in the coming hours. I want to give you a heads up. If you get onto my feed, I want you to be prepared. It's 2:15 in the afternoon. So, as you know, going way back into the middle of next week, of the middle of last week, rather, we started talking about a thunderstorm chance that I believe could start as early as Sunday evening and would go through Monday night. Well, we didn't get anything here on the west side of our state last night, but there were storms off to our east. And now the storm threat is looking more realistic for the coming hours on this Monday afternoon into the evening. So here's the map from the National Weather Service. And what's new is this green area. It does include the areas in orange here too. Portland, Vancouver, up into Kelso. So basically all areas except for the coast here on the west side of our state under a flood watch. You know, like a flood watch, what the Weather Service is doing is remembering the last time we had thunderstorms, there was that one that popped a 1.66 inches of rain over Tigard. And in that storm, an inch of that rain fell in, I think it was 20 or 26 minutes. Crazy. There were some homeowners that had water in their basements. There were several significant, really quick developing flooding episodes because the intense water came down at such a high rate. It just ran off and did not have a chance to soak in. So the Weather Service is basically warning that with the possibility of storms coming in the valley later today and this evening, we could have potentially the same type of intense downpours. And these downpours and these storms would be spotty in nature, which means your chance of getting one isn't great, but we want to throw it out there that if the storm clouds come find you, there could be some rapid high water issues developing due to the intensity of the heavy rains. And by the way, in orange here, that's just a reminder that, yeah, we're under a heat advisory. Why? Because it's still hot outside. Take a look. These are the let's see here, 2 o'clock temperatures. So I believe Portland did get up to 90, and now we backed off to 89. Not as bad in Salem. That's not correct. Vancouver's site is not reporting for whatever reason. But here are the other temperatures. You can go 85 in Woodburn, 86 out in Hillsboro, 89 up in Woodland, 88 in Battleground. So certainly from Portland to the north, we are looking at temperatures around 90, maybe a little bit warmer for this afternoon. The record's 93, by the way. So that's certainly in play. All right, let's get you to what we're watching, and that is on imagery. So let's start with this radar image right here. These storms started to rapidly develop in the 11 o'clock hour this morning. So there's Bend getting hit with a thunderstorm. You've got some thunderstorms along the Cascades here in the eastern portion of Lynn County, Marion County. Here's some storms. These have developed on the west slope of the Cascades in Clackamas. Now, they're not showing any immediate signs of migrating back to the west toward I-5, but we're keeping an eye on those. Also, some heavy rainstorms north of Hood River. There's a big one. This is likely going to stay north of our area and move back toward Centralia. You can see it right there. This might just clip parts of Cowlitz County and get into Columbia County, so we'll be watching that. There's a low pressure center. It's to our south, so the rotation is coming around counterclockwise. Everything's having a tendency to pop, and for the most part, near the Cascades, kind of hold to migrate to the north and eventually come back to the west. So there is that image. Here's the wider satellite image. You can see the storms firing out across eastern Oregon up into Washington. So pretty widespread storm coverage as we expected. And I want to show you this because this is cool. It really highlights how things are starting to change. This is the visible picture. This is all low marine clouds. The beach started off this morning with clouds and misty spots. Some areas have seen the clouds just back out to sea a little bit. But this is a sign that the east winds that we had over the weekend, gusting at times, those, for the most part, have ended. There's still an east wind direction out of the gorge, but not the blowing gusty east winds that we had. So because of that, the beach has cooled off. They're getting air coming in back off the Pacific, and highs will only be in the 60s. Also on the satellite picture, the visible, look at see all the definition popping on the visible satellite picture? This is all the cumulus towers building on the visible satellite picture. Weather models suggest that some of these cloud heights, the very tops of the thunderstorms developing this afternoon and this evening, could go up as high as about 34,000 feet in the atmosphere. If you live in the Midwest or Texas, that's not that big a deal. They get storms that go up to 60,000 feet. But for us, 30,000 feet or higher, that's significant. We don't see it very often. So that adds to the possibility, even though the air is super warm, it at least makes hail a possibility. The bigger story, though, I really believe is going to continue to be the heavy rain rates that the Weather Service has put out that warning for. One more, well, maybe two more things. Okay. All of these X's, the red, the yellows, all of them, this is all lightning activity. See the lightning pop down in Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho. Look at all the storms popping here, including over the Cascades now with lightning. So that is a lot of lightning at any given time, period, for the state of Oregon. It really shows that we are really ripe out there. Here is where that low is. Remember, this is the system that was over, Nebraska and Kansas last week. Now, see how this 576 contours kind of comes in and engulfs us? That's not very strong. It's a weakening low, but it is enough as it's centered right over the middle part of our state. And that's why we're seeing this rotation of storms go counterclockwise. There's that weak low right over the center of us. That, in combination of how hot it is just tipped the instability numbers off the charts. So that's why we're getting rapid development of lightning. This is courtesy of KGW TV. This is their Futurecast model. This is 4:30 this afternoon. You would not expect, sometimes it does, but you would not expect the weather modeling to perfectly pick out a storm cell and show exactly when it's going to pop and exactly where it's going to move. Sometimes the models can be almost exactly right. But for the most part, you're just looking at tendencies here. This shows the tendency of a big storm in red at 4:30 over Mount Hood. That could definitely produce some flooding issues. Now, at 4:30, this keeps the storms mainly along the Cascades and then off to our off to East. We'll see if that comes true. Here's one more clip from the Futurecast modeling. This shows storms eastern Clark and Cowlitz County at 7 p.m. around Adams and Mount Bachelor. Shows a storm down south of Eugene. Doesn't show anything over the Cascades at this time, but I bet you there will be storms up and down this area of Jefferson and Bachelor. And there's at least in my mind, I'm sticking with my verbiage of a 50-50 chance, which is pretty high really, that there will be thunderstorms migrate into the valley and up into southwest Washington this afternoon. So we are definitely keeping a very, very close eye on all that. All right, here's the 7-day forecast. So this afternoon, we're at 89, 90 out there right now in Portland. I don't think we're really going to warm up any significant degrees, but maybe we get up to 92 or so. The record's 93. The big story now is eyeing the thunderstorm development. Because that weak low is still kind of hanging out, I'm not willing just to cancel tomorrow's rain chance, but I don't see any storms tomorrow and over, at least not here in the valley. So we might have a remnant shower like in the morning. I will tell you that models do show more thunderstorm activity near and off to the east of the Cascades tomorrow. But Portland, I may end up canceling that rain chance. It's going to be pretty quiet. And I like our chances of at least staying in the 80s tomorrow. But then look what happens. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Are you kidding me? We go 90, 90, 90. Maybe a little warmer or not as hot on Saturday. And then the European model, not all models show this, but the European model shows a cold front coming in Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. That would bring us a rain chance. Now, I will tell you that all of the models I look at, although the timing of whether a front is Sunday or Monday, all the models take us and cool us back down next week. So we get through this week, and the next week it still looks like we'll have some days in the 70s, maybe 60s with at least a couple rain chances that the models are showing up. Real quick, if you want to read more about this, you can go to my weather site, which is portlandweather.com. You click on weather headlines, and you can read the update on all of the different records that we're looking at. And in particular, this one, which is really interesting to me. The last 3 days have all hit 90 degrees. Today, I think we have done it on the hourly ob. So today would be the fourth 90-degree day of May. That is more than we've ever had since the records began at PDX back in 1940. And they were consecutive days. That's a record all to itself. The downtown Portland includes a record book, includes all the various sites going back to 1874. All the records since 1874 show we've never had more than 4 90-degree days in the entire month of May, the entire 31 days. We could do it today. We could obviously break it. I just showed you the 7-day. So that would mean that this May would go down in the books, if that comes true, as basically owning all of the 90-degree heat records worthwhile or worth of note in the record book. And that's what I'm going to close on right there. Again, keep an eye on potential thunderstorm development with the main threat outside of some hail and wind and lightning. Lightning can kill you, obviously, but we're really focused on the potential of those intense downpours like they had in Tigert in that last batch that we had. I think that was the earlier part of last week. All right, I'll talk to you soon.